Yo, what's going on, people? Today we're going to be looking at Victor. So I wanted to just break Victor down in a very simple way because he can seem very overwhelming, especially for a beginner. Even myself, I play Raven, who is very, very complex, and I picked up Victor and I felt overwhelmed by the move list and his stances and stuff. They can feel very overwhelming at first, but if you really take time with the stances and with just Victor himself, you will start getting used to the combos. You will start getting used to just how Victor plays. But on surface level, he can seem very, very intimidating, and I'm gonna kind of break down Victor for you step by step. So in terms of Victor's actual playstyle, he is very committal. So he has good generic tools. So he has a good down forward 1, which is 13 frames and -2 on block. So this is just a good mid check. And also, if for example you notice him stepping a lot, you can actually do this, but it can be duck and launched. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. It can be tricky, to be fair, because so yeah, you can actually launch him for it, but it can be tricky because if you're too early, you're going to get counter hit. So this is just a good tool if you notice him retaliating after down forward 1 or stepping. This is just a great tool to kind of keep them in check. So down forward 1 and the string, down forward 1-1. I just want to talk about a few neutral moves just to get you started with Victor. I don't want to overwhelm you with stance stuff and all that jazz. I just want to give you some good moves to use in neutral. So we just discussed down forward 1, down forward 1-1. Forward 1+2. Now the range on this move is ridiculous. See, look at the range. Range is crazy, and it's a heat engager. It's safe as well. So this is crazy, and it hits grounded if the opponent side rolls. So this is what is going to happen if you're already in heat and you hit them with this move and you don't do the heat dash. So this is what's going to happen. It's very good. Maybe you can get forward 2. Yeah, you have to really delay the forward 2 though. As you can see, it's whiffing. So we talked about forward 1+2. Let's talk about down 2. Now down 2 kind of acts as the same sort of move. It's just a mid check, but it has great range. Like, look at this range. Great range. So I would use this move just to keep them in check. It's just a good mid poke, to be honest. There's nothing more. It doesn't really do anything on counter hit. They both force crouch. So you're really plus after you hit them with this. So you can keep them in check with a down forward 1 or another mid check or something like that, or 1+2. So that transitions me nicely into 1+2. So 1+2 is another safe mid poke, but this is used as a counter hit tool. So think of like Steve's back 1. It's slower, it's 15 frames, but it has good range and it counter hit launches. So this move is very good for just catching people mashing after plus frames or catching people running in. Let's talk about some lows, because I think people think Victor's lows are not that good, and it depends what you want to do with the lows. So his first low I would say is down 4. Down 4 is very good. It's -14 on block, which isn't the greatest. It's just a great poke low, and on counter it does this. Let's just enable the player attack info so you can see how much damage it's doing. So it does 30 damage on counter hit, and look at the Oki. The Oki is crazy. Back 2. Now, back 2 acts as a counter hit kind of parry tool, because look, after back 2 on counter hit, now if you do forward 4-2, they're going to be in force crouch. So there's a few options you have after this move, and a lot of Victor's moves force crouch. So as you can see, this is +4 force crouch, this is +5 force crouch, and force crouch means they are literally in crouch after the move hits them. So now that they only have access to like while standing 4, their while standing move list, and this is important because forward 4-2, and he's gonna mash crouch jab, which is 10 frames, quickest move. He's still gonna get launched. You see what I mean? Victor's very good at counter hitting you, and that is what Victor is about. He's committal and he has great counter hit buttons. Now I want to talk about back 2 as well. Back 2 isn't used in neutral as much. It's a counter kind of interrupting tool, I guess. So let's kind of set up a situation where you would use that. Now we're recording Victor, so let's do down forward 1 and then back 4, because back 4 is a slower move. Now it's going to get counter hit. and see the sequence falls together. So now if he mashes that, he's going to get counter hit. But that's what I mean with Victor's counter hit tools. They are very, very good. Down back 4 is a low that is pretty good. It has great range. Like, this range is crazy. So it hits you from about range 3-ish, I would say. Yeah, about range 3, give or take. So down back 4 is a counter hit launcher. And you must sidestep cancel to do normal combos. So Victor is a counter hit machine, honestly. So that's down back 4. Down back 4 is good, but I wouldn't recommend spamming it because it's launched on block. So if we set him to block or... yeah, it's minus 26 on block. So, you know, you are going to get punished quite hard for doing this low. Another low I want to talk about is down 1-1. Now, it works in a really strange way because if the first hit hits you, it's not natural, but you can't actually duck it. So it jails if it hits. So this is a good low to throw out. Just, it's quick, can't react to it. And on counter hit, it's natural, obviously. So this move is good. It's just a low poke. Another move I think you should be using is wall running 2. It has crazy range. Like, this move is +5 on block. So it's actually a very, very good move. And again, now this is +5, you can opt for 1+2 because a jab now is going to trade and they're going to get launched. So let's put the punish settings on and it still counter launches. So yeah, those are the moves I would say to use in neutral. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like they're easy to understand, they're easy to apply. Like forward 1+2 is easy to apply, down 2 is easy to apply, down forward 1 obviously generic tool, downward 1 is a somewhat generic tool, downward 1 is a somewhat generic tool because it's just a poke low, down 4 again another poke low, down back 4 a counter hit low launch. So I think on surface level Victor is quite simple to pick up. Perfumer is his stance with forward 3. So you would just press forward 3 to get into Perfumer. So some good ways to get into Perfumer are obviously forward 3, but some attacks to get into Perfumer. My favorite ones are down back 1-1 forward, and that transitions you into Perfumer. Now into Lai if you press 2-2 in Perfumer. See? And then back 1. So back 1 is a great one to get into Perfumer because this is a mix-up now, because if they interrupt or try to stare or do anything, they will get hit with this kind of animation. Now, the mix-up comes now because you're trying to go into Perfumer. So, Perfumer 1 or crouch dash or crouch. So, there's a lot of mix-up potential with Victor, I think. Victor is just sick, man. So Perfumer, I would say, is used for just closing the distance. Literally, that's what it's used for. And it's also used for combo fillers and stuff. But for the purpose of what I'm talking about, it's used to close the gap. So look how far he goes with his stance. Like, you can pretty much hit him full screen with a low using Perfumer stance. Now this low is good. Pretty good, high crushing. Does decent damage, minus 13 on block. So not the most punishable. Counter hit, it just is more plus. And it leaves you in crouch. So it recovers in crouch. So let's turn off block so you can actually see. It leaves you in crouch. So now you can go for like while standing 2, which is also a counter hit launcher, and it's safe. So think of Raven's while standing 2. The same thing. So now on counter hit, as you can see, it's still more plus. And these are guard frames, by the way, because it says 13. You can't actually do like while standing 4. It just doesn't work. It's just extra plus frames. So now you're left in crouch, like while standing 2, while standing 1+2, full crouch 1+2, which is full crouch low, which is just, it's a nice low, I guess. And also you can do throws from crouch. So I would throw that in the full crouch mix as well. So yeah, that's Perfumer 1. It's a low that goes into crouch and high crushes. That's kind of all I would say. Obviously, you know, you can hit them from quite far away. That's Perfumer 1. Perfumer 2 is a weird one, and I don't think it's that useful in neutral. I think it's more of a combo filler tool, but let's go over it anyway. So Perfumer 2-2 goes into Lai Stance, which we will cover in a bit. So those are his two stances, Lai and Perfumer. So you can do Perfumer 2-2 into Lai. So he has different mix-ups. So he has Perfumer 2-2-1, which is a high move. Safe. Obviously, they can duck and launch you, duck and punish you for it. And then the mix-up is Perfumer 2-2-1+2, which is a mid. So if they try to duck now, they're going to get hit, but it's punishable. So, yeah, I don't think these are that good, like just to use in neutral. I mean, if you have enough conditioning, I suppose you could do this and just start doing mix-ups in Lai Stance. But like, yeah, I don't think it's that good. It's mainly for combo stuff. The mids, I think, are good. Perfumer 3, which is safe on block and it knocks down. So yeah, this is just a good move. Look at the distance covered. Crazy. And the move itself has a lot of range. So yeah, again, I'm reiterating my point that Perfumer is just used for space control and to get in. It's a get-in tool, literally. This move is awesome because it's a knockdown mid. Doesn't do anything on counter hit, but it's plus on block. So it's +4. Yes, it's +4. So again, you can do mid check. Now, I guess you could do 1+2, but now keep in mind that they're +4. So a jab now is going to beat your 1+2. So let's set that situation up so you can see what I mean. So now he's going to do a jab. And I'm going to get counter hit now because I don't have the frames for it. Perfumer 4 is like, I don't know. It's just to stop stepping. So it's a homing move. It's literally just back 4, but in Perfumer. So you can do it from standing, you can do it from Perfumer. But mainly, I would say your go-to moves are Perfumer 3, Perfumer 1, and Perfumer 1+2. Then I guess if you have conditioning, you can go for Perfumer 2-2. But yeah, I think those are his best moves from Perfumer. So the stance itself is not actually that complicated. It's just, it looks complicated when he's doing all this stuff. But honestly, all this is just a crouch dash into full crouch. And then you gain access to your while standing moves from there. So there's no extra move list from this crouch dash. It's just crouch dash into full crouch. So once you wrap your head around it, the stances start to become more digestible. And I think ultimately that's what Victor needs. So now we're going to move on to Lai, which is his stance that actually is complicated. And I'm not gonna go through every single move. I'm gonna tell you which moves I think are the best from this kind of stance. So first of all, let's just talk about the stance itself. How do you get out of this stance? You press down back to cancel it, or 3+4. So you press 3+4 to get into it, and either down back or 3+4 to get out of it. Because you don't want to be stuck in stance, because he can't block in this stance. Now he can move back, he can move forward, and he can kind of crouch or duck, kind of like an AOP-ish type motion. So now I'm going to record Victor doing the forward motion, as you can see, and it has a low parry built into it. So, and it insta tail spins, so quite cool. But it's like, it's whatever. I don't think this is like makes it busted or anything. It's just a property of the move. This move is used for combos, I would say. Like, the thing is, you can actually hit confirm this. You can delay it. This one is used for combos. So I would stick to using either this one, because the mix-up now is going to be 1+2. So Lai 1, 1+2. And the thing is, if they block this, it's plus on block. So that's where mix-up comes from. So I'm going to turn punish off, just so he doesn't press any buttons. Oh. So he's +3. Same with 1+2. Still plus. So you can do it from Lai 1, 1+2, or just press 1+2. So both are +3 and it's a high. So now the mix-up would come from that and Lai 1-1, which is -14, but it's still a mix-up and you can hit confirm it, so because you can delay it. See? So interestingly with Lai 1, it goes back into stance. So that's cool because you have a mix-up of Lai 1, Lai 1-1, Lai 1-1+2, which is plus, and also Lai 1 by itself back into stance. So Victor is going to require a lot of conditioning, but once you condition, you can start going for Lai 4, Lai 4-2, which also works the same way as down 1-1, where if they don't block the first hit, they can't duck the second hit. So if they get hit with the first hit, actually let's do crouch block so you can actually see. Crouching block. So it jails, so he can't actually duck if he gets hit with the first hit. The combo is natural on counter hit. It does a lot of damage. So this would deter mashing. See what I mean? So they can duck and launch you for it, which is interesting. So he has a lot of stuff, but I'm trying to break it down as simply as possible. So that's kind of the mix-up behind Lai 1. And you can also deter people from mashing with the power crush. So he has a lot of stuff to kind of condition you to stop pressing. Once you've conditioned them to stop pressing, you can go for mix-ups. So Lai 3 is a power crush. And power crush is to deter people from mashing. That's kind of all power crushes are, or to get people off you. But in this case, you would be the aggressor because you'll be in stance, right? So this is a move to just deter people from mashing, and that's all it is. There's nothing more to it really. Lai 4. I briefly spoke about Lai 4, but again, Lai 4 by itself goes back into stance, so you can loop it. And it only has one string, which is Lai 4-2, and it jails if the first hit actually hits you. So yes, you can duck and launch it, but as you can see there, but the first hit, if the first hit hits, it jails. So yeah, they would need to actually block the whole thing. So yeah, that's Lai 4. Lai 4 is good. I don't think it's broken, but it's pretty good low. Lai 2. This is the move that I think is broken, because it's a safe mid, and look at the range. Hold on, let's go like full screen. Okay, it doesn't have quite that much range. Let's like try here. Look at the range. Range is actually crazy. So the last move I want to talk about is Lai down 2, which has good tracking, does a lot of damage, and it does a lot of chip in heat as well. So there's not much else to say about the move, honestly. It's just there's nothing on counter hit other than extra damage, and yeah, it's just a good mid to kind of roll out to mid check if you know the opponent likes to duck in this stance, I guess, because he does have some threatening lows, to be fair. So I mean, I wouldn't blame people for ducking Victor in this stance, because this, if he's doing this on you, it can be very annoying to deal with. And now you're gonna have to deal with the plus frames. It's silly. But yeah, that is Lai in a nutshell. I wouldn't call it a nutshell. I've been recording for ages. But yeah, I try to explain Lai as easily as possible. So let's just talk about his heat engages real quick, because I was showing you all the moves without heat engages. So some of the moves I was showing you are actually heat engages. So Perfumer 3 is a heat engager, and you're plus 17, so you can do a mix up. This kind of plus 17 after you heat engage is universal. So back 1+2, another heat engage, you're gonna be plus 17. Forward 1+2 is the same, plus 17. So these are all moves to get into heat, and they're very good. Down 2 again, heat engager. So the last heat engager is forward 4-1. Again, plus 17. Now this is useful for when you interrupt something with a back 2. If you want to go into heat, you can. Now, as you can see there, 24 damage. So this does scale the damage a little bit on counter hit, which is fine because, you know, this gives a really good situation for you to, you know, counter hit after this. Or if you want to get into heat, forward 4-1. If you don't want to go in heat, you do forward 4-2. And then you're plus 5, force crouch. This sequence is great because they can't do anything about it. So those are his heat engages. There's not really much to say. All of them heat dash. So I'm going to activate heat now. So his heat engager launchers are down 2. So after you do down 2, you hold forward to do heat dash. And that launches. I'll show you. So that's one of his launchers. Perfumer 3 is another launcher. That's another one of his launchers. And his last launcher is forward 1+2. So the other two are forward 4-1. But this doesn't actually launch, it does like a spin. So you get forward 4-2. And then the other one is back 1+2. Which again, you don't get the combo. So those were just his heat engagers. I wanted to show you what you do after them, which ones launch, which ones don't launch. And that was kind of just a roundup of his heat engagers. Let's talk about combos real quick. So I'm just going to give you a really easy B&B. And this works from any launcher as well. So I'm going to break it down. So let's just start with down forward 2. So down forward 2, down forward 3-4. Now this is just a filler move. Just a filler. That's all it is. Now where we screw is we do down forward 4-2. And this transitions us into Lai Stance. Now the screw attack would be Lai 2. So we're going to put it together. So now you've actually kind of tornado screw them and they're open for juggle. Or if you want to get fancy and maximize the wall carry and damage, you can sidestep. That's my combo I usually do. So one I like to do is this one, which has a lot of sauce. This one is crazy. And it does a lot of wall carry as well. Let's do that again. So I'm going to break it down. So down forward 2, down forward 3-4, which is pretty much always his universal filler move after every launcher. Back 1 forward to get into Perfumer. And then in Perfumer, we're going to do 2-2 into Lai. And then Lai 2 to screw. Sidestep left, down forward 4-2. And then into Lai. And then Lai 1-2. You can also finish the combo with this Lai 1-2-2 for more damage. So I'm going to show you it. So those are just a few kind of easy B&Bs. And remember, it's the filler that is overwhelming at first. The filler's weird. Like this is weird to do at first anyway. But once you get your head around the filler and kind of how you would actually tailspin, his combos are not that hard. Okay, before we end the video, I want to talk about wall combos real quick. So let's say for example you wall splat them. What would you do here? So you have a few options. You can do 4-3, 4-3 delayed 2 to get that scaling. Easier one would be jab, down forward 1, down forward 3+4. Or he has a string forward 2-2-1-1. And this is very consistent. Very, very consistent, and it does a lot of damage. So those I would say are his 3 combos that I would do. Now, what happens if you screw at the wall? Because now this combo is not going to work. So what you would do is same 4-4-2-2-1-1. Works the same. Or you can do this if you're not comfortable with that string. Down forward 1, down forward 3+4. But this one does more damage. So I would stick to this one. Now, if you're really far, you won't be able to do that because you're going to get running 2. So if I'm running and I press forward 2, I'm going to get running 2. So yeah, that's not viable when you're really far. So then you would do either run up or jab, down forward 1, down forward 3+4, or down forward 1, down forward 3+4. Those are his combos. But this one is the most consistent. Because now look, if I do 4-3-2, it's just gonna whiff. So I would say, yeah, forward, forward, 2. So I would say, yeah, forward, 2, 2, 1, 1 is his best wall combo because it's the most universal. It doesn't matter about the wall, the kind of wall slump. Because now, look, this doesn't work. But this always works. The only issue is you can't do this from far away if you're running towards. So then you would have to opt for 4, 3, 2, or jab, down forward 1, down forward 3 plus 4, or just down forward 1, down forward 3 plus 4. Now, the jab depends on how far they are at the wall. So if they're low slumped, you can do down forward 1, down forward 3 plus 4. And if they're kind of normal like this, you can do this. But if they're normal, I would just opt for this one. Delayed 2. 4, 3, delayed 2. Because this does the most damage. And then this is universal. If you don't have to run towards, you can just do this one. So like this, for example. Does a lot of damage. So those are his war combos. I don't want to go into too much detail. It's already a really, really long video. So yeah, let me know what you think about Victor. Do you think Victor's strong? Do you think Victor's a mix-up monster? Do you think he's a counter monster? Let me know what you think about Victor. Like, comment, subscribe. Liking helps with the algorithm, commenting helps with the algorithm, and subscribing helps with me just to know that you're actually appreciating the content. Peace.